It's finally here. The day has come. My fall series kickoff. It's everything fall. Indoors, some outdoors, centerpieces, to small space decorating. Fall is a season all about change, right? From colors, temperatures, even flavors. All things pumpkin. That's right. Pies, pumpkin breads, pumpkin coffees, lattes, right? All of one of my personal favorites. So, with that being said, fall is also a season about family and home and appreciating all of our many blessings that we have each and every day. It's a time to cozy up, break out some of the sweaters for places other than Arizona. Anyway, speaking about the pumpkin flavors, I was thinking right before we came on, so this is kind of coming out rather quickly. I hadn't thought about it all the way, but let's just roll with it. How about a recipe swap, right? And I'll turn it into a little contest. Leave a recipe, take a recipe. The person who gets the most likes on that particular recipe, I will make for you all in my tiny little kitchen on video. And let me remind you, I'm a decorator. I am not a baker. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to share one of my personal favorite recipes also. Doesn't have to be pumpkin. Let's have fun with it. Roll with it. So anyway, leave them in the comments below. The winner is going to be featured on my channel, their name, and actually will send you a small little token of appreciation from all of us who loved your recipe. Pass it on, right? Okay, so I want to start the series off with something a little bit easy, basic, that anyone can do. I feature a lot on dollar store finds and how you can buy some items at low cost, but they have a high impact reward, okay? It's the little things. It's not always the big things. But in that last video, I did talk about having a few components that you can carry through out the season. So when you're buying something and purchasing, possibly go with something that is very universal, right? I have the little aspen candles that I featured in the last small space decorating video I did, and I will put a link for that one. And these I will carry through every day into fall, this also into Christmas, and even back into every day. I find a lot of people say they don't have components, but I can guarantee you I can come to any one of your houses and find key components that you hadn't thought of. And why not take them off of that shelf, dust them off, clean them up, and give them a whole new life, because I guarantee they will feel new to you. So I do that a lot in my decorating. So when I'm talking about components, you're going to see how I use the same components, but I mix it up. There's no barriers. My grandma, God rest her soul, love her to death. She had a no-no corner, right? We weren't allowed to touch it, and she would keep it immaculate. But when she put it back together, everything was in the same place. 25, then 40 or what, that whole I don't want it to change kind of thing. Well, that's great, but there's times to bring down and incorporate. That way you're not spending all of your money on that sort of thing over and over, when it could be on some great wine and family and friends, right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. couple of tips when you are shopping at the dollar store. I highly recommend you getting in earlier the better to when they start putting their seasonal changes out. Don't wait until a week before and think you're going to get good quality stuff. You're going to get the rotten eggs of the bunch that nobody else wanted, right? So get there quick and maybe do a couple of swing arounds if possibly needed. But we'll get more into that in future. So one of the dollar stores I go to used to be 99-cent only store, but now they have things that are a little bit more, but certainly extremely cost effective, right? I think this runner was $1.99, $2.99 at the max, and it's a super great quality. Like, I'm shocked that they can even sell that, right? Okay, so that kind of gives us our base starting, right? Changes the color, starts getting a little bit of that coziness starting, and then let's go in with some ribbon. I got this whole row. It's a good size. It's like, you know, a meshy type of feel, different nice texture. And what I did is I cut it, you know, to go across, and I tied a couple knots, one on each end, just because that gives it something to kind of gravitate to, or, you know, it holds it down a little bit. And so see right there, that doesn't flop and then you're going to kind of incorporate. So the whole row was $1. We're going to use up a lot throughout the different videos, but you'll see when I come in doing probably my whole house and, you know, my outside area, I'm going to come in with a total, and you're going to see all about that low cost, high reward. Okay, so you're going to want your component. You're going to want to start kind of in the center. As I spoke, you could start with this guy here. It's beautiful. I'm going to use this in another area on here coming up in a future video. So I'm not going to use that one on this centerpiece today, but I just wanted to show you your components can change. I found these great bottles at the dollar store. Super, super great quality, and literally it was $1. And you can, you know, do a couple of those. You could even start on one on each end and come in, right? But we're going to use those for something else. I just want to show you. Don't say to me that you don't have components, because I know you do. Shop around your house. Shop around your house. Okay, so we're going to start with those aspens that I showed you in the last video of the Southwest. But they will work for me for my everyday in my home, into fall, into Christmas, and then even for Easter. I mean, it's something that it just doesn't stop giving on that. It's not some bright red thing that you can really only get away with, you know, once a year. Get something universal. Okay, so we have those three here. Now, if you'd like a little extra height on it, I'm going to show you a little trick. I have a little candle thing, and I'm just going to put it right underneath. See how that lifted that up? And put that nice little notch right in front so it's visible. I'm doing this backwards, you guys, so bear in mind that. Okay, then I picked up 3 of the little pumpkins. You can mix up colors. I kind of like to stay in certain things in one tone, so I picked up 3 of them. Once again, I got there a little early, and I got the great quality. It's not hot pink with lime green polka dots on a pumpkin, you know, 3 days before the holiday. Okay, so shop early. That's my tip. And then you kind of, on a centerpiece, it's visible from always. This is going to be in a small space area, so I am not 100% too worried about the back because it's going to be the wall, but I always cover my mechanics and will add just as much back there as to the front. So we have those 3 cords. We'll just take it right there, and then, you know, right here, or you could go in the triangle, okay, into the other back side, but in the front, I kind of want to go one curved and one upright, and then this one here. Okay, so we're already starting to build our base. And then get your larger components set in where you'd like them. You know, maybe tilt that guy a little bit right into here, up against that gourd. Okay, you can take it apart and make it 1,000 different ways. So it's kind of up to you. If it doesn't feel right, move it around, because when it falls, literally, into its space, it'll just work, and you'll know it, and you'll feel it, and you'll be like, oh my God, that's what I needed. I will stare at a display like, oh my God. And it could be the smallest thing, because I'm a lot about the smalls, but once you add that in there, you're like, yes, complete, done, right? So that could be my own OCT, but let me know if you're feeling any of that in the comments too. Okay, next, let's go ahead with these guys. So I found these. They're metal at the dollar store. They hold a votive, and they were all, I want to say $1.49 each, which is super great. They're great quality. The color's beautiful. Now they were flattened, and you wouldn't even know that they pop up into layers in that 3D effect. So another tip is, when you get something home, you take it and you fluff it, and you know, it's come a long way from China. So go ahead and fluff all the flowers, the rib, everything, you know, give it a nice good fluff. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start. Oh, we can go ahead and get those candles. Dollar Tree. I was lucky to have them. They were going quick, and they weren't even in the fall area. They were on back of aisle like 6. I'm like, really? Had to ask her, and she came and showed me. But they're pumpkin spice, and they smell amazing, and they fit there nicely. It fills that. Could do a tea light or the votive, but since this isn't going to be necessarily for table or what, or it's just, I liked the way the dimension was, mainly for the video, so you guys got to see full, but you know, you could go with that votive here. They had the same one, same scent, 4 of the votives, and then they had a pack of the 6 of the tea lights, but we're going to use those in future videos. So we're just going to go ahead and set that on either side. Okay, and then next, let's go ahead and get into the fluff of it. And that's about your flowers. Another thing about getting there early is I got first pick on the stems for the flowers. Why go to Hobby Lobby or what and pay all that money and not even get that large of a reward? So I found, and I'm going to show you the stems so you get an idea. I cut those just so it saved a little time for the video. 5 blooms on each. Now, instead of keeping them clumped together or what, that's where your wire cutters are going to come in. I don't know if I told you, you will need wire cutters and some other wire that I'm going to show you, and a pair of scissors, and that's all you're going to need to do this. I'm sure somebody has a wire cutter around. If not, hit the dollar store, they will. Okay, so I used literally 5 stems of that. So that's only $5 so far, because I already had my key component, and then I had the 3 gourds, so I'm at like 8, and then these, so I'm like at $12 so far, well, on the runner. Okay, so you're going to start with your leaf, okay, or whatever. Tuck in. See how that fills that spot right there? You're not even going to see any of the mechanics of it. You don't need foam. You don't need anything. You just need to cut your stems and place them in, okay? go there. Watch your height of the candle, because obviously we don't want to start a fire. I want to warn you all, be very, very careful with any of your candles. Children, home, and what can be seriously impacted by that. And that is the disclaimer. I'm not responsible for candles. Okay. Then we go ahead and, like I said, we're just going to start placing it in. If it doesn't work there, take it to the next direction. Okay. Get the leaves, look, tuck it right in there. I like to tell stories with my displays. And how is it going to fall? The leaf is going to fall on top of it, and then this little gourd is going to roll over on it, right? So think of nature when you're doing it. Nature is just beautiful as she is, and we don't need to do a lot to beautify her. I always will pull in nature into anything in my home. It warms it up. It gives it a grounding sort of feel. I go on vacation. I'm bringing home a bag of moss from Oregon, big giant pine cones that are amazing, rocks I have brought home, and crazy enough, those are some of the things that mean the most to me. I put that tangible thing with that memory, and I'm able to incorporate it into my life. Like, involve the kids in that, you know. I was painting rocks this summer with my granddaughter, the hide a rock thing where you paint it and then hide it. How fun is that? Super fun. Okay, you see how that's starting to flow there? And you see how you're taking this little thing that's not so great alone, but added in with those textures and stuff, it takes on a whole completely different feel. Another trick with your flower. Okay, sometimes they come in all at the very bottom. Cut it as long as I said, as long as the stem is, and then take it and push that up, because that's where it really truly does belong. Give it a fluff, okay? And then if it's too long for where you need it, you just bend it, okay? Simple. And then later on, if you need it somewhere else or for next year, just unbend it. But it gives you a little stability there, right? So, perfect. Let it climb up that candle some. And then, let me show you the tufts I did. And I'm going to show you how to make a tuft here. Okay. Let's start here. I found this whole amazing cordage. Super pliable, really easy to work with, cuts easy, and it is so long, I can't even believe it. I'm gonna do my whole house for $1 of this stuff. So what I did is I cut some of it and I made some little bows, okay? I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, just to save a little time here. So I'm gonna add that in, right? Like that, let that climb up a little bit there. You know, maybe right into there. This is a good time for like 3 of them, right? This guy's a little longer, but I have a lot of space to fill on the back. And since this is gonna be next to the wall, it's not super important, but you always wanna cover, like I said, those mechanics of things. Okay. I have the magic owls, right? Nature. These were in my last video also, so I am reusing those into fall, and I'll be reusing them into Christmas and back into my everyday, which is where they came from. So I'll probably put one here, right? And you could put them next to each other, but since you want both sides, but necessarily not the back, why not split it up a little bit? a little balance going on there. And then, excuse me, I'm using that desert rose from my last video also, which I really loved putting in here, and I just kind of ground it a little bit with that. You see, it all works right in there. Some nature, some really inexpensive fluff that will go a extremely large way. I haven't even finished all the flappers, if you want to know the truth. So let's keep on going. And you can just stretch it as you go. Let that one hang up high. Come this way, get it a little bit under that core. No, we don't have any leaves on this side, so let's do a nice leaf here. Different heights, different textures. They all play off of each other. They soften it. And then I have to cover that can back here. I'm going to take a picture of it, you guys, and I'll be posting it on my Instagram and Facebook. You can find the links to all that down below also. I would love and appreciate you even coming and posting some of your own pictures. We're just a big old decorating family, and I like sharing tips and tricks. We need to help pass this on to our daughters, and that way our grandchildren grow up surrounded with beautiful Christmas decorations, and your fall and holiday events become a little bit more special if you just take a little bit of time and super inexpensively figure out how that works into your budget. But look how beautiful this is, and it didn't take that much time at all. I wanted to show you how to do the tuft real quick. So always on my channel, what you really are going to need is that pair of wire cutters, a pair of scissors, and some floral wire. Come in different sizes, well, in different gauges. So from super fine all the way to super thick. I get one super fine just because there's times, corsage work or what, I don't need it real heavy. And then there's other times where I tie the tufts off. So they come sometimes long. If they come long, cut them in half. Now on the tufts, I cut that half in half again. So you're really getting a lot of your wire. You're getting a bang out of that. Okay, so let me show you here. You take it, you leave a little bit of the end. I'm also left-handed, so you guys that are right-handed, probably opposite for you, but it's the same thing. This is really easy to work with. So you take it and just make a loop, right? Like a bow on a shoe. Take the other side, loop it. Get it the way you want, the size, by just pulling it in or out. Leave some of the tails because they'll help fill in, right? Okay. And I have cut a little wire, so it's just a little tiny one. And I take it, and here's your tip for this. You take it, you put that wire around the bow, so it's split up one on each side. You take your pointy finger, okay? You put the pointy finger nail side to the ribbon, okay? And then each side of the wire comes over your index finger. Then you take the top, grab it, and you give it a nice tight twist. I remember at Valentine's making 1,000 bows. That one little spot on my finger hurt. I used to tape it just so. But see how easy that is? Doesn't look like much, but when you add it in here for a little extra height and gets that going. And then I like a little bling and flash, and I felt like this might be a little bit dark. I found some glittery stuff, and this was literally in the Halloween section, but it's in an orange, and it just adds a little glitz to it. And I'll just tuck that in, and let it flow, okay? It came on a stem like this, right? And I just cut it. So when I talk about cutting the stems, you have your wire cutter. I should have went through this earlier. You take it all the way to the bottom, like I said, to where it's going to meet the big center stem, and you just give it a cut. So you'd get 4. Even if you needed, you could cut again right in the middle. If you wanted a little shorter, let me show you that. Then you cut it again, right? Whoops, well, you had 2 pieces like that. And then that can translate, you know, into that. Just like I said, I don't know if you can see it through this. And I'll do it again. Low cost, super high reward. And you just made a beautiful centerpiece with literally no foam, no having to worry about a container or anything. You're just using a component, right? I'm super excited about this, guys. Let me know what you think. Drop me a line. Let me know some of your decorating tips and tricks. I would appreciate them too. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to make my next video today also, so it'll be, as soon as I get through with that, it'll be hitting YouTube also. If you have not yet hit the subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. It means the world to me to do this for you. Hit the bell for the notifications, because my videos are going to be coming out. We got a lot to cover in a short time, and I want to do it in time for you guys to go and get a few little supplies from the dollar store before they're all picked over, or wherever you're going to buy from. You don't have to do that. I'm just letting you know. You don't have to go and spend that type of money unless you want to. I'd rather spend it, like I said, on wine and maybe a massage. Okay, so hit that bell, and don't forget about the recipe contest. The winner, I'm going to make your recipe, right? I am going to send you a little gift in the mail, and you will be announced on my channel. I'm so excited.